Have you ever stopped to wonder about the secret to love, connection, and intimacy as we grow older? What if there was a simple, often overlooked way to not only strengthen your body but also deepen the bond with the ones you love? This video begins with a story, one that resonates with the wisdom and warmth of a life well lived. It's a tale of transformation, self-discovery, and the profound lessons that come with age. But it's more than just a story. It's a roadmap to reclaiming a sense of vitality, intimacy, and connection, no matter your stage in life. By the end of this video, you'll learn the surprising physical and emotional benefits of an often underestimated practice that can transform your health and relationships. Why nurturing intimacy is about more than physical connection. It's about trust, communication, and a deeper emotional bond. How embracing self-care can awaken a newfound confidence and sense of purpose, inspiring not only your life but the lives of those around you. This isn't just about a quick tip or a fleeting idea. It's about timeless wisdom that has the power to ripple through generations. From the cherished lessons of an elder to the transformation of a young woman, this video will inspire you to embrace the strength and beauty within yourself, reconnect with your loved ones, and cherish the legacy of love, care, and connection in your life. So, grab a warm cup of tea, settle in, and join us as we uncover a secret that's not only personal but profoundly universal. By the end, you'll see just how small, intentional actions can create a lasting impact on your body, your relationships, and your legacy. You won't want to miss a moment of this journey. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. The golden rays of the afternoon sun poured over the veranda, casting a warm glow on the well-worn wooden boards beneath Dona Elvira's feet. The scent of jasmine from the garden mixed with the earthy aroma of her steaming cup of tea. She sat quietly, enjoying the rare stillness, her hands folded gracefully around the delicate porcelain teacup. Her years had softened her face but deepened her eyes, which sparkled with the wisdom of a life well lived. The rhythmic chirping of birds provided a serene backdrop as she reflected on her past, her family, and the enduring love she had shared with her late husband. Her thoughts were interrupted by the soft sound of footsteps. Her granddaughter Anna, glowing with the unmistakable radiance of young love, approached hesitantly. Anna had been married just a few months, and her newfound role as a wife filled her with both excitement and questions. She was nervous, though. The topic she had come to discuss wasn't one she had ever imagined broaching with her grandmother. But something about Dona Elvira's calm and nurturing presence made Anna feel safe enough to ask. She paused at the edge of the veranda, clutching her hands together, and finally mustered the courage to speak. "Grandma," Anna began, her voice tinged with both curiosity and embarrassment. "There's something I've been wanting to ask you, something personal." Dona Elvira looked up from her tea, her face lighting up with a warm, inviting smile. She could sense Anna's hesitation, the way her granddaughter shifted her weight from foot to foot, unsure of how to proceed. "Come, sit with me, Anna," she said, patting the space on the bench beside her. "Whatever it is, you can always talk to me." Anna sat down, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her dress. After a moment's pause, she took a deep breath and spoke. "I've heard about these exercises. Kegel exercises. They're supposed to strengthen certain muscles, the ones we use during intimacy. Do you know anything about them?" For a moment, there was silence. Then Dona Elvira smiled knowingly, her eyes crinkling at the corners. She reached out and placed a reassuring hand on Anna's knee. "Ah, yes, my dear," she said gently. "I know all about them. Kegel exercises are not just about strengthening muscles. They're about nurturing yourself and the bond you share with your partner. They're about love, connection, and the quiet power of a woman's body." Anna's cheeks flushed, but she felt a wave of relief at her grandmother's openness. Encouraged, She leaned in closer, eager to hear more. "Tell me, Grandma," she said softly, "how do they help? And is it really true they can make a difference in a marriage?" Dona Elvira's expression softened further, her voice taking on a reflective tone. "When I was young," she began, "we didn't talk openly about these things. It was considered improper to discuss intimacy, even among women. But as I grew older, I learned that taking care of our bodies is one of the most important gifts we can give ourselves, and those we love. Kegel exercises, my dear, strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, which are crucial for so many things. They help prevent health issues like incontinence, they make childbirth easier, and yes, they can enhance intimacy." She paused, her gaze drifting to the horizon as memories of her own life flooded back. "But beyond the physical benefits," she continued, "these exercises represent something deeper. They remind you of the importance of caring for yourself, of embracing the strength and beauty of your body. And when you care for yourself, Anna, you also nurture the connection you share with your husband. Intimacy isn't just about physical closeness. It's about trust, vulnerability, and love that goes beyond words." Anna listened intently, her admiration for her grandmother growing with each passing moment. She had always known Dona Elvira was wise, but she had never imagined she would speak so openly about something so personal. "Did you and Grandpa ever talk about things like this?" Anna asked hesitantly. A wistful smile spread across Dona Elvira's face. "Oh yes," she said, her voice tinged with fondness. "Your grandfather and I believed that open communication was the foundation of a strong marriage. We talked about everything, our hopes, our fears, and yes, even our intimacy. He used to tell me that the best relationships are built on trust and understanding. Kegel exercises became part of that understanding, a way for me to show him that I cherished our bond and wanted to keep it strong." Her eyes sparkled with mischief as she added, "And let me tell you, my dear, they worked wonders. Your grandfather would always say he felt the love I put into caring for our relationship." Anna couldn't help but laugh, her earlier nervousness giving way to a sense of comfort and joy. "Grandma," she said, "I had no idea you were so progressive. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me." Dona Elvira chuckled, her laughter light and melodic. "Age brings wisdom, Anna, and it teaches you to embrace life in all its beauty. The body may grow older, but the heart remains young if you nurture it. Never be afraid to care for yourself or to prioritize your relationship. These are not selfish acts, they are acts of love." She leaned closer, her tone becoming more serious. "But remember this, Anna, intimacy is about more than just the physical. It's a reflection of how you and your husband respect, cherish, and support each other. Never let it become something you take for granted. Always nurture it, protect it, and honor it. And don't be afraid to talk to your husband about what you need. Communication is the true foundation of a happy marriage." Anna felt tears welling up in her eyes, overwhelmed by her grandmother's wisdom and the depth of her love. She reached out and hugged Dona Elvira tightly. "Thank you, Grandma," she whispered. "I'll never forget what you've told me." As Anna rose to leave, she glanced back at her grandmother, who sat quietly, her hands once again wrapped around her teacup. The sun bathed her in a golden light, and for a moment, she seemed almost ethereal, an embodiment of love, strength, and wisdom. Dona Elvira watched Anna walk away, her heart full of gratitude for the bond they shared. She took a slow sip of her tea, savoring the warmth, and smiled to herself. She knew that in passing on her knowledge, she had given Anna a gift that would last a lifetime, a legacy of love, self-care, and the courage to embrace life fully, both body and soul. The sun dipped lower in the sky as Anna walked away from her grandmother's veranda that day, her heart and mind swirling with a mix of emotions, gratitude, curiosity, and newfound empowerment. The conversation she'd shared with Dona Elvira felt like a sacred gift, one she hadn't anticipated but would treasure for the rest of her life. Her grandmother's wisdom had unlocked something inside her, a deeper understanding of herself, her body, and the connection she shared with her husband, Carlos. It wasn't just a lesson about Kegel exercises. It was a lesson about love, respect, and the care required to nurture intimacy. In the days that followed, Anna began putting her grandmother's advice into practice. At first, she approached the exercises with a mix of awkwardness and determination, unsure of what to expect. Each morning, she would carve out a few minutes of quiet time, sitting by the window where sunlight filtered through lace curtains. She focused on the gentle rhythm of her breathing and the subtle movements of her body as she strengthened her pelvic floor muscles. Though it felt strange at first, Anna reminded herself of her grandmother's words. Taking care of your body is an act of love, not just for yourself, but for those you hold dear. As the weeks turned into months, Anna began to notice changes, not just in her physical health but in her overall sense of self. She felt stronger, more centered, and more confident. It was as if the simple act of dedicating time to herself had awakened a quiet power within her. She carried herself differently, her posture more poised, her smile more assured. Even Carlos began to notice. One evening, as they lay in bed after a long day, Carlos turned to her with a curious smile. "You've been glowing lately," he said, brushing a strand of hair away from her face. "There's something different about you. You seem happier, more confident. What's changed?" Anna felt her cheeks flush with a mix of shyness and pride. She hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to explain, but then she remembered her grandmother's encouragement to always speak openly. Taking a deep breath, she began. "It's something I learned from Grandma. We had a conversation a while back, and she told me about Kegel exercises." Carlos raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Kegel exercises?" he asked, his tone warm and supportive. "Tell me more." Anna smiled, the words flowing more easily now. She explained how her grandmother had shared the importance of these exercises, not just for physical health but for enhancing intimacy and connection in a relationship. She spoke about how the exercises had helped her feel more in tune with her body, and how they had given her a renewed sense of confidence. Carlos listened intently, his expression a mix of admiration and love. When she finished, he reached for her hand and squeezed it gently. "I'm so glad you shared this with me," he said. "It's amazing how something so small can have such a big impact, not just on your health but on us. I love that you're taking care of yourself, and I love that we can talk about this together." Their conversation that night marked a turning point in their relationship. What had always been a loving bond deepened into something even more profound, a partnership built on trust, vulnerability, and open communication. Encouraged by Anna's honesty, Carlos began sharing more of his own thoughts and feelings, and together they discovered new ways to nurture their intimacy. They laughed more, talked more, and found joy in the little things they did for each other. Anna realized that her grandmother had been right. Intimacy was about so much more than physical closeness. It was about cherishing and respecting the emotional connection they shared. Months later, during a visit to her grandmother's home, Anna couldn't wait to share how much her life had changed. The two women sat together in the cozy kitchen, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the air. As sunlight streamed through the windows, Anna recounted everything: how the exercises had improved her physical health, how her confidence had blossomed, and how her relationship with Carlos had grown stronger and more fulfilling. Dona Elvira listened with a serene smile, her heart swelling with pride and joy. "I'm so happy for you, Anna," she said softly. "It brings me so much joy to see you embracing these lessons and making them your own. It's wonderful to hear how something so simple can have such a meaningful impact." Anna reached for her grandmother's hand, her eyes glistening with tears. "Grandma," she said, her voice trembling with emotion, "you've taught me more than just about exercises. You've taught me about love, how to care for it, nurture it, and respect it. You've shown me that intimacy is something to be cherished, not taken for granted. I'll carry your wisdom with me always." Her grandmother gently caressed her hand, her touch radiating warmth and love. "Intimacy," she said, her voice filled with the weight of years of experience, "is a journey you share with your partner. It's a journey of discovery, trust, and growth. And it's never too late to learn new things or to deepen your connection. Remember to always approach it with curiosity and care. The two women sat in comfortable silence for a moment, their bond strengthened by the love and wisdom they shared. Then, as they often did, they began reminiscing about old times, their laughter filling the kitchen. Anna knew these moments with her grandmother were precious beyond words. Each story, each piece of advice, a priceless treasure she would carry in her heart forever. Inspired by her grandmother's openness, Anna decided to share her experience with her closest friends. She knew that the topic of intimacy and self-care wasn't something that was often discussed, but she felt a calling to create the same safe, supportive space her grandmother had given her. One afternoon, during a casual gathering, Anna broached the topic with gentle tact. At first, her friends exchanged hesitant glances, their initial discomfort evident. But Anna's warmth and sincerity soon put them at ease. What began as a conversation about Kegel exercises blossomed into something much deeper. Her friends began sharing their own experiences, about their marriages, their bodies, and the insecurities they rarely voiced. For many of them, it was the first time they had spoken so openly about such personal topics, and Anna was amazed by how freeing it was for everyone involved. In that moment, Anna realized that her grandmother's wisdom had not only transformed her own life but had created a ripple effect, touching the lives of others as well. She felt a deep sense of pride and gratitude, knowing that she was carrying forward a legacy of love, care, and connection. As the gathering drew to a close, one of her friends hugged her tightly and said, "Thank you, Anna. I didn't realize how much I needed this conversation. You've given me so much to think about." Later that evening, as Anna reflected on the journey she had taken since that fateful conversation with her grandmother, she felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Dona Elvira's words echoed in her heart. Love and intimacy are treasures that must be nurtured with respect, communication, and a touch of wisdom. Anna knew she would carry those words with her always, passing them down to others just as her grandmother had passed them down to her. And so, the wisdom of one remarkable woman continued to ripple outward, touching lives in ways both profound and lasting, a testament to the enduring power of love, connection, and the simple, beautiful act of sharing one's story. The sun had begun its slow descent, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose, as Anna stepped away from her grandmother's veranda that day. The warm breeze carried the faint fragrance of jasmine, mingling with the lingering scent of her grandmother's tea. But Anna's heart was far from quiet. It was filled with a symphony of emotions, gratitude, reflection, and the subtle stirrings of transformation. The conversation with Dona Elvira had been so much more than just advice. It had been a passage into a deeper understanding of life, love, and herself. 4 days after, Anna replayed her grandmother's words in her mind, as if committing them to memory would etch them permanently into her soul. It wasn't just about the exercises, it was about the intention behind them, the act of honoring her own body and the connection she shared with her husband, Carlos. The wisdom her grandmother had imparted carried a gravity that resonated far beyond their conversation. It was as though Dona Elvira had handed her a key, not just to intimacy, but to unlocking a fuller, more intentional life. At first, Anna approached the exercises with a mix of curiosity and trepidation, setting aside a few moments each morning to focus on herself. She would sit quietly by her bedroom window, the soft sunlight filtering through lace curtains, and close her eyes, tuning into the rhythm of her breath and the subtle movements of her body. It was a small, private ritual, but it began to awaken something profound within her, a sense of awareness, strength, and connection to herself that she hadn't felt in years. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. As the weeks passed, Anna noticed changes, not just in her physical well-being but in her confidence and the way she carried herself. She felt lighter, more grounded, as if reclaiming a part of herself she hadn't even realized she'd lost. Carlos began to notice too. One evening, as they sat together on the couch after dinner, he reached for her hand and gave her a curious look. "You seem different," he said, his voice warm and thoughtful. "More confident. Happier. What's going on? Anna hesitated, her cheeks flushing with a mix of shyness and pride. She had always loved Carlos deeply, but opening up about something so personal felt like stepping into uncharted territory. Still, she remembered her grandmother's words about the importance of communication and trust. Taking a deep breath, she decided to share. "It's something Grandma told me," she began, her voice soft but steady. She explained how her grandmother had introduced her to Kegel exercises and how they were not just about physical health but also about nurturing intimacy and connection. As she spoke, Carlos listened intently, his expression a mixture of admiration and curiosity. When she finished, he squeezed her hand gently. "I love that you're doing this for yourself," he said. "And I love that you trust me enough to share it with me. It's amazing how something so simple can have such a meaningful impact, not just on you, but on us." That moment marked a turning point in their relationship. What had always been a loving partnership deepened into something even more profound. They began to have more open conversations about their desires, fears, and hopes for the future. Their connection became richer, not because of any one thing but because of the space they had created for honesty, vulnerability, and shared growth. As the months went by, Anna found herself reflecting more and more on the lessons her grandmother had instilled in her. It wasn't just about Kegel exercises, or even about intimacy in her marriage. It was about a larger truth, that love, whether for oneself or another, is not a static thing. It's a living, breathing entity that requires attention, care, and intentionality to thrive. This realization began to ripple outward, influencing every aspect of Anna's life. She became more mindful in her friendships, reaching out to friends she hadn't spoken to in months and making time for meaningful conversations. At work, she approached her colleagues with renewed empathy, listening more attentively and offering words of encouragement when they needed it. Even in her family, she found herself being more present, lingering a little longer during family dinners, asking deeper questions, and cherishing the moments that once seemed ordinary. Anna's growing awareness also inspired her to create a space for other women to share their stories and experiences. What had started as a timid conversation about pelvic floor health with a few friends evolved into something much bigger. She began hosting regular gatherings at her home, where women of all ages could come together to talk about their lives, their challenges, and their victories. These gatherings became a sanctuary, a place where vulnerability was met with compassion and where laughter often mingled with tears. During one of these gatherings, Anna introduced a tradition inspired by her grandmother. She called it the Wisdom Circle. The idea was simple yet profound. Each woman would take a turn sharing a piece of advice or a life lesson that had shaped her. It was a way to honor their individual journeys while creating a collective tapestry of shared wisdom. When it was Anna's turn to speak, she paused for a moment, reflecting on the words that had changed her life. Then, with a gentle smile, she said, "My grandmother once told me that intimacy isn't just physical. It's a connection that goes beyond words. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or even yourself, nurturing that connection requires trust, communication, and care." The room fell silent as the women absorbed her words. Slowly, one by one, they began to share their own stories. Some spoke of the joy and strength they had found in their relationships. Others opened up about moments of heartbreak, resilience, and rediscovery. There were tears, laughter, and a profound sense of solidarity as each woman's voice wove a new thread into the circle. One woman, Clara, who had always been reserved, shared a deeply personal revelation. "I've spent so much of my life taking care of others, my husband, my children, my parents, and somewhere along the way, I forgot to take care of myself. Hearing your story, Anna, reminded me that it's never too late to start. I want to learn how to reconnect with myself." Another woman, Sophia, spoke of the struggles in her marriage and how she had let silence build a wall between her and her husband. "Your grandmother's words about communication really struck me," she said, her voice trembling. "I've been avoiding a conversation I know we need to have. It's scary, but I want to try." As Anna listened to her friends' stories, She felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the ripple effect her grandmother's wisdom had created. What had started as a single conversation on a veranda had grown into something far greater, a legacy of love, trust, and connection that touched not just her life but the lives of so many others. Through these gatherings, Anna realized that her grandmother's teachings were timeless. They were about more than just relationships or physical health. They were about embracing life fully, with all its complexities, and finding strength in community and shared experiences. Even as the years passed, and Dona Elvira was no longer physically present, her spirit lived on in every story shared, every act of kindness, and every moment of courage. Anna often thought back to that golden afternoon on the veranda, the sunlight dancing in her grandmother's eyes as she spoke. Those words had become the foundation of a life filled with intention, love, and meaning. And so, the wisdom of one remarkable woman continued to ripple outward, touching lives in ways both profound and lasting, a testament to the enduring power of love, connection, and the simple beauty of sharing one's story. Anna knew she was part of something bigger, a lineage of women who carried forward the lessons of the past to illuminate the future. And in that, she found a profound sense of peace. As Anna knelt by her grandmother's grave that sunny afternoon, surrounded by the gentle hum of nature, she felt an overwhelming sense of connection, not just to Dona Elvira, but to the countless lives her grandmother's wisdom had touched. The bouquet of wildflowers in her hands trembled slightly as the breeze picked up, carrying with it the faint scent of jasmine that always reminded her of their afternoons on the veranda. Her voice was soft but steady as she spoke, her words blending with the whisper of the wind. "Thank you, Grandma. Your words have become a part of me, a part of how I live and love. I never imagined how far your wisdom could reach, but I see now, it's like a stone dropped in water. The ripples go on, touching places you may never have imagined." For a moment, Anna closed her eyes, letting the peace of the moment wash over her. She could almost hear her grandmother's laughter, feel the warmth of her hand resting on hers. The lessons of love, care, and connection that Dona Elvira had shared had taken root, blossoming not only in Anna's life but in the lives of so many others. The headstone before her wasn't just a marker of a life lived, it was a symbol of a legacy that continued to grow and thrive. When Anna rose, she felt lighter, more grounded, as if her grandmother's presence had wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. She walked back to her car with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that the best way to honor Dona Elvira's memory was to continue sharing the wisdom she had been gifted. If you are still watching this video, and find these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Back in her community, Anna became a quiet force of change and support. Her grandmother's teachings had instilled in her a deep understanding of the power of connection, how a kind word, a listening ear, or a shared story could transform someone's life. She took every opportunity to be that source of light for others. When her friends confided in her about struggles in their marriages, Anna listened without judgment, offering gentle advice drawn from her own experiences. She reminded them of the importance of communication, of tending to their own needs as well as those of their partners. For friends who felt overwhelmed by life's demands, Anna became an advocate for self-care, encouraging them to prioritize their health and happiness without guilt. The wisdom circle she had started continued to grow, evolving into a cherished tradition within her community. Women from all walks of life began attending, drawn by the safe, supportive environment Anna had cultivated. Each gathering was filled with laughter, tears, and the kind of heartfelt sharing that left everyone feeling lighter and more connected. What had started as a simple idea had become a lifeline for so many, a place where vulnerability was met with compassion, and where women could find strength in one another's stories. Carlos, too, noticed the changes in Anna. She radiated a confidence and calmness that drew him closer to her than ever before. Their relationship, already strong, deepened in ways neither of them had anticipated. They began to explore new ways of spending time together, stepping outside of their routines to create shared experiences. They took up dancing lessons, where they stumbled and laughed their way through the steps, rediscovering the joy of simply being in each other's arms. They enrolled in cooking classes, experimenting with recipes and savoring the small victories of perfectly baked soufflés and rich, flavorful sauces. Even their quiet evenings at home took on a new meaning, as they opened up about their dreams, fears, and the things they had never thought to say out loud. Through it all, Anna carried the memory of her grandmother like a precious jewel, her teachings a constant source of guidance. Whenever she faced a difficult moment, she would think back to those golden afternoons on the veranda, to the way her grandmother's words had a way of making even the most complicated things seem simple. Love, trust, communication, and care. These were the pillars of a fulfilling life, and Anna strove to live by them every day. As the years went by, Anna found herself stepping into the role her grandmother had once held, becoming a source of wisdom and comfort for her own children and grandchildren. She shared stories of Dona Elvira with them, recounting her lessons with the same warmth and tenderness that had defined their relationship. She taught her grandchildren about the importance of caring for their bodies and hearts, about the beauty of vulnerability, and about the courage it takes to truly connect with others. One day, as she sat with her granddaughter on her own veranda, Anna found herself echoing the very words her grandmother had once spoken to her. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's a connection that goes beyond words. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or yourself, nurturing that connection requires trust, communication, and care. Her granddaughter listened intently, her youthful curiosity reminding Anna of herself all those years ago. In that moment, she realized the beauty of the cycle, how wisdom, once shared, could continue to bloom in ways that transcended time. Anna's life became a living testament to her grandmother's legacy. Every act of kindness, every piece of advice she offered, and every connection she nurtured was a reflection of the lessons she had learned. Dona Elvira's wisdom had become more than just words. It had become a way of life, a philosophy that touched everyone it reached. Even as the years passed and Anna herself grew older, she felt her grandmother's presence in every step of her journey. She knew that her own life, filled with love, growth, and connection, was the greatest tribute she could offer to the woman who had taught her so much. And as she looked around at the thriving community she had helped build, at the family she had nurtured, and at the friendships that had flourished, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. For in sharing her grandmother's teachings, Anna had not only honored her memory, she had ensured that her spirit would live on, rippling outward like waves on a quiet pond, touching countless lives in ways both seen and unseen. And in doing so, Anna had created a legacy of her own, a legacy of love, wisdom, and the enduring power of human connection. As we come to the end of this story, let's take a moment to reflect. What have you learned from this journey? Has it inspired you to think differently about intimacy, self-care, or the wisdom that comes with age? We'd love to hear from you. What is one lesson you've learned from this video that you plan to bring into your own life? Share it in the comments below. Your insight might inspire someone else watching this. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments, give it a thumbs up, and share it with someone who might benefit from this wisdom. And of course, subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories, valuable advice, and timeless lessons. Thank you for spending this time with us. Let's continue to grow, connect, and inspire one another. See you in the next video.